One of the oldest forts around the French city of Metz, as you know, one of my favorite French cities, is Fort de Saint-Julien. It is special in many ways and an amazing place, as you will see. It was one of the forts that held up Pattons' advance in 1944, and the signs of that battle are very evident still today. But a lot happened to the fort other than that, so let's start at the beginning. Construction began before the Franco-Prussian War in 1867. It was part of the defensive line that surrounded the city, similar to many others surrounding other key cities in Europe. The concept was, in the spirit of the detached forts, placed one cannon shot from each other to provide a continuous defensive line defended by mutual artillery, thus mutually supporting. It was designed with features of all the great fortress builders of the time, French Raymond Serre de Rivières and the German Hans Alexis von Biele, and the fort was also surrounded by a system of dry moats, evoking the fortifications of Sébastien Le Bourbon. The fort, pentagonal, is a bastion, half buried between a defensive system on a slope. The main caserne is designed to withstand artillery fire, something that would be seriously tested to the limit in 1944. However, the fort was begun by the French. It was not finished by the time of the outbreak of the Franco-Prussian War in 1870, and in 1871 the whole area was ceded to Germany, who thereafter finished the fort, along with many others in the area. This was to be one of the most important areas for Germany, who stationed between 15 up to 25,000 soldiers before World War I in and around Metz. The fort was renamed Feste Manteuffel, and it was occupied until 1919 and saw no action during World War I, where it served as a training location for German soldiers heading to the front. Thereafter the area was returned to France, who did not include it in the new Maginot Line design. However, the concept of the line of forts along the German frontier could be mutual supporting, and it was similar in concept and designs. But given the forts was built in stone with some reinforcement of cement and further brick reinforcement, it was constructed by two different military sets of engineers, and it is an interesting mix. But it was generally obsolete way before World War I. But it was a large fort with room for soldiers and storage of material. And in 1940, when the Germans returned to take possession of the fort, this is exactly what they did. In late August 1944, Patton's Third Army was closing in on Metz, and Hitler had declared it a Reich fortress, and the defenses were to be reinforced. But Patton was not a man in the mood to slow down, and arrived there before September 7. But well supplied as the Allied armies were, they had a significant problem forwarding supplies to their fast-moving front line, especially Patton's. Now moving so far away from the ports the Allied had taken, and the supply system was breaking down along with the trucks. Patton urged Bradley to let him move fast, but this at a time where Montgomery was still quietly lobbying to take overall command of the Allied armies, and for him to receive all supplies and make one single thrust into Germany, as opposed to Eisenhower, who always wanted one broad continuous front advancing slowly. Either way, Patton had intelligence that there were quite few German forces opposing him at that time, but he was stalled by the supply problem, and by the time he began rolling again, the Germans had now reinforced the town and its forts, and significantly enough to put up a serious fight, and one that lasted into the rain and mud period, and Patton's initial attempts had failed to break through the German lines, despite taking two bridgeheads over the Moselle. General Raymond Leclerc and General Edward Walker decided to suspend the attacks, pending a new plan from the General Staff of the 90th Infantry Division. When hostilities resumed on November 9th after a month of rain, the German soldiers of the 462nd Volksgrenadier Division still held firm to the forts of the Metz. since arriving in Normandy, they had held widely different ideas how to use the overwhelming air power given the Allies, had some serious incidents of blue-on-blue bombing of the front lines. Before the Allied attacks were to jump off, several times Allied bombers had bombed the fronts right in front of them, accidentally killing hundreds of Allied soldiers. So it was with some misgivings the field commanders had the U.S. Air Force send in 1,300 heavy bombers over the defenses of Metz to bomb the German fortifications sitting around this ancient town. But as most bombers had to release from over 20,000 feet, the 689 loads of bombs only hit 7 forts, and really only caused collateral damage. And knowing Patton's love of history, it must have been a nail-biter for him, as Metz is full of historical significant buildings, cathedrals. But it was fortunately not hit by the spray of bombs. The fort here was attacked on 18 November through heavy fog. It was defended by the 2nd Battalion of the 378th Infantry Regiment, and the fort being on an elevated position overlooking the main road of Metz made it important for everyone to take, or keep. The road itself was held by the 462nd Volksgrenadier Division, who were slowly being dislodged by use of Allied artillery, and the U.S. Army now slowly slugged their way around the fort. Partly covered by the fog, they slowly surrounded it, and rolled up 240 howitzers and self-propelled guns, which then began firing continuously on the fort, while the infantry was preparing for a direct assault. Now the Germans here, they knew the game was up, and over 200 Germans managed to slip out through one of the many back tunnels, which was probably a good thing, as their rear guard was now facing direct fire from several U.S. tank destroyers firing point blank at them at the fort's entrance. But a small detachment of the 462nd Volksgrenadiers was trapped and kept up the fight all night, but surrendered the next morning, having run out of most ammunitions. And you can look forward to future episodes of the Battle of France all the way from the beaches of Normandy, and some of the controversies that have arisen since, and a little bit of the stories behind the scenes of the interactions between the Allied generals that was not always cordial.
Oh, well. Yes. 1860. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, yes. Anita, you gotta see this. You gotta see this. Here's the fighting caserne.
Biggest fighter ever, or?
Yes. And here, these bolts are not Franco Prussian War. These bolts are World War II. Probably close defense, hard to tell. But certainly there was a heavier weapon mounted here, or probably sitting on this table, which could theoretically be a period table. 1860, this is awesome. Skitty hello loose. I do this for a living. I do this for a living. It's fucking awesome. I have a great life. Oh, yes. Tunnels, tunnels, tunnels. And here again, so close defense, no bolts, ventilation. Absolutely amazing. Oh, look at this.
What you have to keep in mind here is this was built by the French finished by the Prussians, rebuilt by the Germans, then owned by the French again, then owned by the Germans again, and reused by them, purpose for World War I and a different one for World War II. And each army made their mark and made changes.
And if you remember some of the forts that was built after World War I, it's the same design. It is just, this is built in stone, almost 50 years before. And it's almost not full of graffiti. This is awesome. That's the best part. Wow. This just keeps going. And going. And going. Holy.
What makes that extra interesting is that none of them actually left any plans or designs as to what they did, why they closed off certain walkways, hallways, doors, or why they opened others.
10, 11. This is bigger than I thought it was. The Grande. Why am I even pretending? My French is terrible. Let's not even go there. Wow. And this keeps going. And we're still looking at defensive positions. And there's a light, perhaps. Something's been bolted there too. Okay, go on to the roots, but whoa, this is not roots. This is electrical. I thought these were tree roots.
Phone cable.
For cable, eh? Is that World War I or World War II? One.
I believe.
So World War I, well, the Germans were here. Oh, no, nothing really. World War I, what's here? Nothing?
Yes.
And World War II, the Germans were here. Holy. Wow. You can really see the throwback to from a time of fortresses and castles. Same design. Ooh, what have we here? So, tunnel into the
This is big, huh?
So is that tunnel to Kaserne or to under the bastion?
I don't know.
Aha! We will find out. So in 1944, was the Germans here fighting the Americans?
What we do know, just like Elvertsleben or Plaberville, that the yellow brick, yellow stone, was the original French design. Thereafter, the red brick was part of the reinforcement, as was the cement leading up to World War I. As for World War II, we're not entirely sure what they did, but you'll see in a moment.
Aha! The end! So that walkway is the only way out of here.
This gallery is along the ditch. I believe we are along this wall.
Okay. Outstanding.
Because we down
There.
here
Yeah.
and we go like this.
Huh. So we should go that way. Well, I guess we should go that way. Wait a minute. Here was a door. Here was a door. Originally, there was a door here. I wonder. I thought it would be a stretch with only the way back to get out, and then this. Maybe. So where did they all go? Do we know? No. So these go under the wall, under the ditch?
No, the ditch is there.
The ditch is there. Interesting. Interesting when they were closed.
So originally it was designed that this walkway would circle the entire fort and we would come back to the other side. Some of these have been closed off, and we expect they were closed off between World War I and World War II. But the Germans were preparing to fight out of here as the front came closer.
I wonder why.
The same at all the other corners.
You know what? Could there have been a floor? Like a work floor?
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Interesting to find out where they go.
And again, same here.
Door too?
No, with
With a-
supports in
yeah,
the
well, yeah.
corners. Yeah.
They look original, they just look like they've been worked a little more. Except this one. And that one. Never mind. Right. Dowel cable. There was a cable that was running through here. And down and over the wall. So maybe during the Second World War there was a radio or communication, power, electricity. Yeah, it went over the wall and then under the door. Here, wooden dowels.
For light.
For light, yeah. So that's World War II, World War One. Wow. And here's another door. I wonder when they were closed. Or why?
Now we came in through this general area and walked down the hallway here that, in theory, once should have circled all the way around the fort, but is now closed. And so also vast amounts of this fortress is now destroyed or in ruins, and it's really hard to see, especially from above, that there's actually a fort here at all. So we have to go the other way, and I'll show you the more intact parts.
And the cable keep running over us. Now into the red brick.
We are in the flank of the bastion.
Yeah.
And these are for light gun.
Five.
For Gatling.
For Gatling. So this was World War one or two?
Two.
Two.
One there and one there.
Yeah, see the platforms built up.
I don't know.
And the floor is different.
No, it's not.
Or just. And then this, now we're going to red brick. So is this newer than this?
Most probably.
I believe it's a German modification.
World War One or World War Two?
Before World War,
Before?
World War One.
Before World War One. Oh yes, this was German before World War. That's right. So we do have to go this way. Now,
For beer.
it's about the same size as an 88,
Just kidding.
but and again, cabling is following us. And there's a door that's closed. How dare they? I am outraged. Oh, that's a new. Dan deed wat luister. That's a good. You want a holiday picture? This is a good holiday picture.
Why?
You don't understand the beauty of complete and utter destructive wars.
One of the things that strikes me about this fort is almost 2/3 of it is actually missing. It is somewhere out in the woods, out in the forest, where you only find rubble. So you can access some parts through the tunnels beneath, and rumor has it there's an enormous amount of tunnels that I have to go back and explore more carefully and in more detail, because nobody seems to know where they actually lead.
So what do we got here? This is such a different layout. Oh, wow. Was this the main gate? The entrance?
I don't know exactly. Because
Wow.
yes, it's
What happened to
an
it?
American shell
American.
in 1944.
So the Germans were here fighting the Americans.
Yes.
Yeah, that this looks like when Americans visit.
German were in Metz. And Third Army,
Yeah.
Third U.S. Army,
Wait.
with General Patton, was in front of Metz.
Yeah, they.
And U.S. aviation,
Yes, I know. Whenever Americans visit, that's what we do. Normandy.
and
Wow.
What we really have here is this sign of the battle in 1944, where the Americans were shelling straight on the fort. The stones held up quite well, but not that much longer, I would think.
This is what happens when Americans they visit. What an amazing place.
And as we get into the first building here, you'll see something that I would think is almost signs of aerial bombardment, although none was noted at the time.
So it looks like I'm on the outside of the wall, and I don't know what all these are. This is just... So this looks like the caserne we drove by. Coming in. This really has been shot up and blown up. You don't see, it looks like a freestanding wall here. And I can see, if you look inside, there's a hole in the roof. This was some American bombing, 44. Wow. I suppose this is what one of the rooms would look like, intact. Looks like a post-original build with red brick, and you see how thick the walls are when they're still intact, before being visited by the Air Force. And then over here, oh wow. Oh wow. This is... Oh, there's another bridge.
Get out of my picture.
Holy shit, this is so cool.
And this is where I can honestly say, you don't build them like this anymore. But this is such a beautiful place, the way it stands, being overgrown by nature. I don't even know if I would suggest renovating it. Well, maybe a little.
We all know we're going in here. Wow. You do the painting.
I do the painting. I put in a few windows, maybe some heating.
This is absolutely gorgeous. I'll be back. Maybe. Wow. Wow. Karma tritt ein Heim soll es sein, und nichts bedenken, eine Wurst schenken. Wurst schenken, nehmen, die sie gehen. Seite fröhlich. Oh, it's been destroyed, but look at the graffiti. Oh, look at the paint of the walls. Oh, this is just awesome. And here over the door, I painted the walls, no graffiti, no paint, make it homely. Wow. Oh wow. Look at the walls. They painted all this up. This is gorgeous. And here's a close defense by the door. I mean, alright, I guess it's not gorgeous anymore, but yeah, it would have been. Back in the day, look at this place. Wow. Protrusion of the wall. This would be the powder store. This was the powder storage. That's what this was. Yeah. This is the powder storage. Here's the little window. There'll be a light in there, so you could put light in between a piece of glass into the powder store without igniting everything. And then they painted this. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then the Americans came and blew some of it up. But you can still see the remnants of the walls of the paint. I'm imagining that will be World War One. And then of course there's the end here. Where everything. And then the Americans came to visit. And that happens. See over the door here, there's lights, light switches, but this amazing design. And of course the first floor has been demolished. Staircase is not there, and here's another one up here. Oh wow.
Sleeping Beauty.
I was just like, wow.
To wake her up.
I found an artifact. It's an artifact. That looks like part of a wheel. Oh, this is almost clean in here, comparatively. And the wall again. Drainage. Some double doors in here. Suppose this could have been the powder store again. Nope. Oh. Wow.
One of the problems the Allied air forces had with the bombing and air war over Germany and France during the Second World War was to actually hit the targets. not to mention finding them, which is something the U.S. Air Force excelled at higher altitudes because they did daylight bombing, which was obviously more dangerous. However, you see something as overgrown as here today, and imagine there's a fort underneath. That would be almost impossible to spot, although at the time of the war it would be slightly more visible. But it is a testament to how inaccurate, one could say, that mass bombing actually was of strategic targets, that so few forts, only 7, was hit during the bombing of Metz, and the Allied commanders had vivid discussions and debates as to how to go about bombing the French communication hubs without killing French civilians, or if they should be warned before mass bombing attacks. We'll explore that in later episodes. But it makes it hard to tell what damage came from where here.
All right. Platform for, well, I don't actually know what for. Lots of tires, indicating this is a World War II location too. For those of you who watch this show will know that at every World War II location there's tires, and here's a gate, a door, an entrance that has been closed off again. I see a lot of these here. Oh wow, holy mother of God, this is great. And then you have little technical tunnels too. Must be for drainage. Oh wow. Just keeps going and going. Wow. Cabling. Double doors. Candy store. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start. This is just fucking gorgeous. This is. This is the bottom. I'm going the other way. Da in us. Ooh. What have we here? Holy crap on a stick. Wow. What was this? This one must have been a water tank. Almost. Can't have been a water tank, because why would there be a door in the bottom of it, but there's a little window up there. Wow. I have not seen a room like this before. And this was the part that was blown up. What is this? This is just amazing. Okay. Don't know why. A room there. Well, this side. Here's a room I understand. It's the bathroom. I understand that. Yay. And there's the upstairs. Holy shit. Wow. And look at the paint on the walls. Absolutely magnificent. And here on the stone is a little graffiti there too. I have no idea where to start, where to stop. Yeah, they painted these. Really nice. This is where everything caved in. Look at this. And here's a door blocked off. There's a lot of blocked off entrances in this place, but probably before the First World War. Or it could just have been the room divider that had been closed off. Oh wow, okay, I could just walk between the rooms without being in the hallway. This must have been the caserne. Absolutely amazing. I'm gonna go out this way. Staircases. These are one of the most beautiful barrack buildings I've been to. Okay. All right. Oh, this is new. Look at this construction. This is a new, I don't know. This cement stairs looks new. So does this. Now we're outside on the roof. Look at all the different types of construction just in this one building. World War I cement, 1916, 1901. Of course, here's a bomb that hit this thing. Really overgrown here. We'll see the bastion somewhere else. But this is awesome. Double doors, the hinges. Fantastic. Alright, we'll go back down to the bottom floor. See if we can continue that tunnel. It's very unfortunate today. I have a guide who speaks very little English, but I'll figure out more about this stuff, about this place, when I get back home.
And true to all historical explorations, the best part I was told after.
The long hallway was destroyed down there. And here's another stop to another building on the outside.
As I was saying, given the time constraints I had on this day, when we left I was told that somebody once walked into the tunnels and came out somewhere completely different after 7 hours. And you didn't think to tell me this while I was there.
Staircase. Alright, we'll go down here. These rooms are just fantastic. Why am I being... Alright. Very small technical canal right here. Drainage runs under.
At least here we know what happened. The last of the Volksgrenadiers were holding out here, fighting, while the American howitzers were firing on it, above it, and tank destroyers were shooting straight at this, being the front entrance, or the original front entrance to the fort. No wonder they eventually gave up and left. The stone actually took more of a beating than I thought, given modern artillery and weaponry, but at some point in time enough is enough. But when I come back, the tunnel the 200 Germans escaped out through the back door of, I want to find.
Now that little building looks like something World War II. The Germans only used it for storage during the Second World War, but they probably put up a few buildings next to this.
In French, we say crise de l'obus torpille.
I take your word for it.
Obus torpille.
Holy fuck. So this is reinforced roof, the Kasam, the barracks. But you look at this roof, look at this. The walls are not that thick.
These rooms are the historical question mark here. What did the Germans do? If you look at this carefully,
this space is just, it looks like there was 3 stories here, but the 2 ones in the center just fell down. It's very strange. This whole section just seemed to have come down for no apparent reason. There's even shutters for the windows. There used to be windows here.
it looks like the floors were removed to make room for large equipment. A strange way to store most equipment, I would say. Possibly they used it to manufacture things. This is the question mark we have, because the floors didn't fall down, because all the rubble is not on the floor.
Look at this. This is...
And where the floors used to be are neatly cut off masonry.
This is strange. It's like you still have the armored shutters. Well, you don't have them, but this is where the armored shutters will be for the windows. And up from there for the other floor. But the floor is missing. The floors are missing in here. And there's a hallway back there. And it's blocked off from side to side. And in the back, my question is, what exactly did the Germans store here? So, here's a door that's closed. That could be recent. That's a heavy door. And here the roof is. All this has been sealed off. This is a very small little room. But when I look at the ceiling here, That ceiling does not look World War One. This looks World War Two. Everything is blocked off here, see? Yeah, there's a light. But this ceiling is not original. And this, I don't think, was part of the reinforcement from the war. This could have been a boiler room or something. But if this ceiling was reinforced, I wonder what's upstairs, because this is a little strange. An artifact from the kitchen. This building's not going anymore. So here is the floor that was reinforced, which is now full of, well, crap. Attachments on the walls. And here's the regular floor. See, all the windows had reinforcements. Wooden doors. And it looks like, see what it would look like if the metal was pulled out of here. Attachments to stuff in all the walls. Double walls here. That's typical sound. And this would be the rampart. Staircase missing, so we're not going up there. Hole in the floor. We can get out to the ramparts this way. Okay. Another staircase down that we don't need. Tunnel in that we do need. So what is in here? I wonder. Nice turn here with something I have not seen before. This is a turn when you bring something large so you don't scratch through the wall. And I am guessing this is going to lead to one of the fighting positions. This is just amazing. This is like an old castle. And here we get outside. Close defensive position in there, I'm thinking. This is new. This is new. This looks like World War I, World War II. What do you think?
Yes, it's possible. When you find bricks
Yeah,
like this, it's German.
that's German. So, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yellow, French, red, of course. And gray German too. Maybe. So here's the outside. Yay.
You see red bricks. That means the building is reinforced. And
1869.
yes,
Yes.
after the Obu-Torpille crisis, and it's fighting shelter
Yeah.
for the artillery, which is in front.
Yeah. There,
In
so
front. The
so
barrack is there,
there, and then artillery is
and
there.
the light artillery
Yeah.
is. It's a German transformation.
Yes. So this is
Le bâtiment étant, oui.
World War One. It looks like an afterthought. It looks like something you put in after. Cement. Oh, the original. This is really interesting. Trying to piece together what this was. Plastic, some metal, green stuff, something green in there. Remnants of paint on stands. It's hard to tell what the hell this was. Some of the cabinets could be original from whatever it was. Spray can. This
Ah, moi aussi, j'adore ça. Bah, tout ce qui est de toute façon déjà de base urbaine, c'est après toutes les fortifications, tout ce qui est visite de musée, tout ce qui est culturel en fait. Franchement, c'est culturel, je sais que je peux l'embarquer avec, il n'y a pas de problème. Tu sais qu'il m'a fait voir une expo avec ça sur l'Europe après la Première Guerre mondiale. J'ai déjà la l'expo.
These doorways just seem so reinforced, even if it was a temporary fix for a problem. So, what is in here? Powder storage. It's a powder room this here. Old flashback to the old powder magazine. Obviously by World War I, none of this was still in use.
This is the twisting.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Ah, World War I.
Yes.
Yes, there's the proof. Ow.
it's difficult to visit, but it's the road rampart.
What's
And
that?
it's a shelter
That's a shelter.
for gunnery.
Wow. So the rampart's up here. That's a shelter you can't see much of anymore. Oh wow! What's cool about this, it's not actually on the map, which is interesting. What a nice shelter. That's it. Just a little shelter for the artillery positions that are on the middle or on the sides. It is so interesting because, as we just learned, when you see red brick, as you do over my head, it was reinforced. Yellow brick is the original wall. And some of the reinforcement took place by the Germans before World War I.
I was being shown around by a very nice French officer who was very concerned for my health and safety as I was crawling around, or at least trying to get into some of the dark places. But you understand why we are going to have to come back here with a little more time.
First World War transformation.
It is, isn't it? Oh yes. So, yeah, World War One.
Yes.
Galvanized steel, and something happened to it. It was hit by something. Explosion.
No kidding.
Tracks here. What else is missing? Oh,
A little bit of a wall
the
here.
roof is missing. This is where I think
Back today.
I'm very sharp. Backing my way into the evidence.
À côté, il n'y a rien, il n'y a pas de taille de. C'est pas une.
So this is low coast defense. Here looks like there's a platform. Electrical maybe. It's not very big, but oh, here's the bathrooms. One thing we recognize. Out in the one of the first buildings we see, you find the bathrooms. There's the fighting position, and it's been bricked up. It's interesting. Why is this bricked up? Looks like this could have been another toilet by the door. No, probably not. Huh. All right. But something was probably placed here. This is where looking at the map sometimes even gets complicated because everything is so overgrown. It's very hard to see where you are. So here, all fighting positions, ramparts, ditches, trenches. What an amazing. This is trench. Oh. Yeah, here's something that used to be yellow brick. Something fell down from somewhere. What kind of brick is this? It's pretty. Black rocks. I don't know why there's black rocks here. These little things. These I don't understand what they're doing here. Oh, standing on a pile of rubble. Could also be from. It could also be from the bombing. However, here I see something that we all know. Here's the pole for the barbed wire for the close defensive position. And if that is here, then you stop moving, please. And that is there's another one. That means we are in a close defensive area with a whole lot of spiky stuff. I don't see a lot of spiky stuff, but if there's tall spiky stuff, then there's short spiky stuff. And for those of you who know this, that knows now we pay attention to where we're walking. So pay attention to where you're walking. Spiky stuff. There may be spiky stuff, there may also not be spiky stuff.
So far we didn't find spiky stuff.
No spiky stuff. No spiky stuff. However, and here is some red brick of, looks like modern roofing tile maybe. It's not that often you see a window in between two firing ports. These were obviously put in later.
And as is customary with these old forts, there is a powder magazine, traditionally with a little lamp window where you can light up the room without igniting the powder.
So this is the powder store, and this is really cool. This is cool. Another tunnel, another fort that was built in 1860 to 1870. There's a little restaurant upstairs, which I think is great, because again, they're putting this to good use. Wow. I mean, for drainage and water right under here, under the powder store, is interesting. It's the old shutters, I think. This is a great old fort. It's absolutely amazing we can get to run around and have a look at it. And they blocked off a lot of the little walkways, and you can't blame them for that.
And throughout the tour you may have noticed a few road signs. That is because in the far corner of one of the old casernes, somebody opened a restaurant. Now, usually I don't travel around the world to go to historical places just to pluck places, restaurants, foods, anything. But here, in this amazing place, a couple of guys actually rented it, bought it, and opened a restaurant. So you can go in this historical setting from this fort that was built all the way back to the 1860s, and it saw World War I, it saw World War II. Everything around it is original, but right here in these few buildings behind me, they put a restaurant. And you know what? It's worth it to go here and eat just to see that. The Fort Joan of Arc is my favorite fort around Metz, and you might remember our walkthrough. It's one of the last forts of Metz to surrender, as determined German resistance, bad weather, floods, inopportunity, and a general tendency to underestimate the firepower of the fortifications of Metz had helped slow the U.S. offensive, given the opportunity to the German army to withdraw in good order to the Saar. The objective of the German staff, which was to gain the most possible time in keeping the U.S. troops from arriving at the front of the Siegfried Line, was largely achieved. And what I truly do love about this particular fortress here is, as with many of the others around Metz that was occupied and used by the Germans, is their reconstructions. The changes, the different designs, the construction they now contain when you go through them. And as we crawl through them, we see almost 100 years of upgrades and different features by different armies and engineers, leaving it sometimes hard to determine what, where, why. Fortunately, I've been through many more of them, and I cannot wait to show you. Stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe so I can keep going. Behind me is Wernher von Braun's first test stand. Down the road is Dietmar's nuclear reactor. Over there is the Maginot Line and all its amazing forts. I'm visiting them all and I'm bringing them to you. So I really appreciate you like, follow, and share what I'm doing, trying to document all these important historical locations. And if you feel like you want to watch more pictures or documents that I use for these, go to lostbattlefields.com. And if you feel like helping me out with my travels, because gasoline and travel and airfare is expensive, my PayPal is there, protectionserviceinc.com. You are more than welcome, but you don't have to. I appreciate all your support and all your help, and I love seeing these locations, and I love bringing them to you.